and I've been very excited, and I would have loved to be part of the show without even being invited. So it's a big privilege for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now, Mr. Bolarinwa, in fact, first of all, Steph, I need to comment the fact that you look great. You look very much great. You look sparkling. That makes when I
Well, we're pushing. We're trying to drink a lot of water.
Okay, thank you so much again. All right, so on today's edition, we are looking at the Super Eagles. Because as it stands, in fact, everybody has lost hope. Well, if there are people who still have hope, I don't know, but I think the majority of Nigerians, majority of football fans, Super Eagles fans, they've lost faith in Nigeria Super Eagles. Gone are those days. Maybe I'll start from there. Gone are those days when Super Eagles are having a game and the streets are deserted. We have everywhere, it's quiet. It is no longer like that. Mr. Bolivar, what do you think, Starby, what do you think is responsible for that? Let's start from there.
Well, I would say, let me start by saying it's about the culture and the kind of players that we've been able to bring into the Super Eagles. I think the blame can't be laid on one person. It's a combination of many factors, starting with the NFF, the coaches, and the players. The fans have no portion of blame in this instance because when things were going well, the fans always turn up. We always look forward to the Super Eagles games. The stadium is filled to capacity. It still filled to capacity, but the Super Eagles haven't given us so many things to celebrate of late. So, I mean, the NFF, I keep saying this, the NFF needs to find a way to have a proper structure of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And it has to start with the age grade competitions. Take it from the under 17 to the under 20, under 23. Let's have a formidable team. But most times, when there's a big tournament coming up, we just try to, bring in players, put it together, and hope something good happens at the tournament. It doesn't work that way. We look at the top teams who have won World Cups and major tournaments. They don't just assemble a team prior to the tournament. Most of the time, they try to make sure that the plan had been going on way before the tournament starts. So that's a major problem in Nigerian football, and that's why some fans have lost hope. They no longer believe in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. When the qualification starts, they are so excited, but at some point they get disappointed and they drift away again from the Super Eagles. So let's see what happens in the next few weeks. For the World Cup, it's now so difficult to qualify. It's no longer in our hands, but we hope that the glory days to start with comes back to the Super Eagles. When the glory days come back, when we see some good football, when they are coached by the right person, then we can start believing again that the Super Eagles can qualify easily for major tournaments and do well in major competitions as well. I can't hear you. I think there's an audio problem.
There is, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I was saying, I was agreeing with you that let's hope and pray that we're able to, fix all of that and get our viewership back and that brand back to the Super Eagles. So that means that to a large extent, we want to ask the question, what is wrong with the Super Eagles? Basically, yes, we talked about what is affecting the viewership and all of that. What is wrong with the Super Eagles? What would you say is wrong with the Super Eagles?
For me, I won't say something is particularly wrong with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I actually think we have a very good squad. We have fantastic players. Most of them play in Europe. I look at all the positions and I think we're fairly covered. Maybe for the midfield where Ndidi seems to be aging, we need more steel. But we've seen some other players who have played in the past and they can step up. I think the only place I can say we're lightweight is the midfield. But when you look at the attackers, I mean, we're well covered. The
Hmm.
defense, aside Ekong, who is the captain, who is about leaving the national team, we also look great. The fullbacks, Ola, have been very impressed. I was a bit disappointed that we haven't seen Bruno Yemechi play at left back, but we also have Bright Osai Samuel at right back, who is very consistent as well. So I don't think anything is wrong with the squad in particular. I mean, if something is wrong with the squad, how did they make it to the final of the last Africa Cup of Nations? That speaks
Mm.
volume. It shows you that the team is good. They're capable of winning the Continental Trophy and capable of qualifying for major tournaments and going all the way to the knockout phases. But I think the problem, and I'll keep saying, has to start from the NFF. They need to get things right from their end. And when I talk about getting things right, they need to make the right appointments for the national team. Now, Jose Pacero took them to the final of the Nations Cup. You can't say he did bad as a coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He actually did well because it's never easy to qualify for the final of the Nations Cup and lose to the hosts who were better on the day. Well, they were better in the second half. So that's not a coaching problem. But at the end of the day, when you want to appoint a new coach, you need to get it right. They made a mistake. I mean, as we've all seen in appointing Finidi George, not taking away anything from Finidi George. He's a fantastic person and a good coach, but it didn't fit. It wasn't fit for the national team, and that's why he had poor results that eventually led to his sack. Then again, they went to Iguavoine, who was doing well, and now we've landed Eric Chelle to lead the Super Eagles. Now, the team is good. They just need the right person to bring them together and make it work. And that's what I hope that Eric Chelle brings to the national team. I would have loved him to win that game against Zimbabwe. It didn't happen, unfortunately, but he was able to win against the first game against Rwanda. So it's a coaching problem as far as I'm concerned for the Super Eagles. When the right person comes in, I think we'll see the best of the Super Eagles and they'll be able to confidently play football and qualify for major tournaments pretty easily. So we have so many talents in Nigeria and abroad. So putting a team together has to be the issue. And like I said, it starts from the NFF, getting the right coach, and getting the boys to deliver on the football pitch. Audio?
Okay. Sorry, we're really having some slight network challenges over here. Sorry, glad to have you back again. So you were already telling us that there was nothing wrong with the Super Eagles, and basically it's from the management, the NFF. Now, if it is from the management, why does it look like most of the times we tend to address it to the coaches? Now, you find out that Jose Pesero comes in, takes us to the finals of the last AFCON, and we are praising him. He's sacked, he's axed. And then you bring in the next man, he's not doing well. A lot of us forget the NFF per se. Maybe great men like you in the sports journalism world, we get to say, okay, yeah, let's attribute it to the NFF. How come it is not glaring immediately that this is a management issue and not a coaching issue? I don't know if my question is clear enough.
Yeah. I get you totally. It's easy I mean, in a football game or a football context, the first
Yes,
person you lay the blame to has to be the coach. So
yes,
whether the players were not good enough or whether the players could have done something right is another story entirely. The first scapegoat is always the coach. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the coach is bad. I mean, a lot of factors affect football
yeah,
matches, a lot of factors affect outcomes of football matches, but
yes.
it's not always about the coach. So the coach always get the fall. The NFF cannot be sacked, unfortunately,
True,
but we can
unfortunately.
always, yeah, they can be sacked, but we can
Yeah,
always implore them or beg them or appeal to them to do the right things. No
yeah,
sentiments, don't put bias. Just look for the right persons to lead us
yes,
on the field. I know it's not easy for them at times too. You do a lot of research, you do a lot of scouting. At the end of the day, you feel you've got to the right person and it doesn't work out. But you still have to take the blame because you make the
yes,
appointment. But nobody holds them to account and they're there, they appoint
Yes.
a new person and just hope that it works. So I mean it's unfair to some managers. Some actually deserve to be sacked, but it's unfair to some managers that they always take the blame or take the fall when the team fails to deliver on the football pitch. So yeah, I'll keep saying it. The NFF, they should take more responsibility. When you look at the way the national team has fared in the last 10 years, we didn't qualify for
Yeah.
the last World Cup. We may not qualify for the next World Cup,
Yes.
an expanded World Cup for that matter, nine
Yes.
African teams. I mean,
Yes.
have you ever thought about it? Now we're having nine teams from Africa, the best teams from
Hmm.
Africa, and Nigeria is not among.
Surprisingly, we're
It's
not. We're not.
it,
Uh,
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for a football
highly.
country to not play at an expanded World Cup. It's embarrassing, and we really need to get our house in order.
Hmm. Now, looking at the fact that fine, we brought in Eric Chelle, the Malian, Frenchman, however they want to put it. He's now on the seat and he has had 2 games managing the team. Can we to a large extent or to any extent say that he has made any impact on the team, considering the fact that he has not lost any game? He has had 1 win and 1 draw. Can we say there has been any impact, or has it just been the players themselves who woke up to the game to say, okay, we don't want to lose this game, or they slipped and lost, or let's say drew the second game?
But so for Eric Chelle, I have to say, and to be very honest, I actually enjoyed the way we played against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. We actually played well for the first time in a
Yeah,
very long time.
yeah,
I actually enjoyed watching Nigeria play. Against Rwanda, they were
yeah,
dominant, they were impressive, they had most of the ball, they scored the goals, and everything looked good. Then against Zimbabwe, it was a tough first half, but Nigeria was always in control. It always looked like we will get the goal and eventually get the 3 points. So performance-wise, I think Eric Chelle has done well. Unfortunately, that second game, the Super Eagles lost concentration again, and that's where the coach still comes in. In as much as he had a good performance, he had a job to make sure that they stay focused until the end of the game. At times, we are harsh on the coaches. This player should know better, but in the end, you have to find a way to get your team to remain focused, stay on the plan, stick with the plan,
yeah,
and get the result. So overall, I'm not even going to judge him. Naturally, I would expect Eric Chelle to be in charge of the Super Eagles for friendly matches before the competitive ones. But unfortunately for him, there was no
yeah.
time for friendly matches. He had to go straight to the competitive games, and he got a win and
Straight.
a draw. So
Yes,
it's
yes,
not been
yeah.
so bad from Eric Chelle. I think in the future we'll be able to judge him. But for now, I'm not set. I think he's a good coach, but time will tell if he can take the Super
Okay.
Eagles to the promised land.
Where is there? Okay, because talking about friendly games, there is the Unity Cup coming up next month. Would you say that would be a good opportunity for him to kind of make a formidable team towards the remaining games of the qualifiers?
Absolutely. That's the best window to test his team, to see what they're capable of doing, to test different formations, different plans,
Mm,
different style. The friendly games brings you this opportunity. You can't do that in competitive games. The first thing on your mind when it comes to competitive games is to win. But in the friendly
yes.
matches, you want to win, but you're also looking at other things in your team. So the Unity Cup, we know, yeah, there's a cup to be won, but
Yeah.
it's still a friendly match, and he has a chance to really test the players. I think he's going to fare well in the Unity Cup because we've seen glimpses of what he can do in the 2 games against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. So what we want to see in the friendly games is another style, how to remain grounded, new players, different positions, new positions, how they play, how they move, how they defend. Those are the things we want to see. So it's a wonderful window for him to do that and see where his team is and better prepare them for the competitive games coming up. So it's a wonderful plan for that competition put together by the NFF. It's going down in England, so it won't be difficult
Yes.
for these players to turn up and see how they can help the Super Eagles.
Okay. So Now, let's look at it from your own angle now. Satisfied with the crop of players that he has played with in the last two games? Or are there players you feel he should remove and then inject some? Or are you satisfied with the crop of players that he's playing with at the moment?
Well, there's always room for improvements, no matter what. There's always
Okay.
an opportunity to do better with the national team. Like I said earlier, some players will gradually move on. I mean, Ekong is nearing his final playing days for the Super Eagles, same as with Eddie
Yeah.
Didi. He used to be the live wire in the midfield, but not he's still good. But we need to be planning for his replacement at this point. And looking at players that could replace them. Well, I think Frank Oyenka could do well in the midfield. He wasn't invited the last time. I hope he gets back. And we
Yeah.
also have Onyedika, who plays for Bruges. I think these players can do well in the midfield. They should be. I think we should see them more playing in that area. Maybe even Joe Aribo. You never can tell. I know he's more of attacking than defending, but we need to see that it's time for them to really show what they are made of. And the scouting will never stop. There are players out there. I mean, Tolu, I can't remember his surname now. The guy that just got the invite for the Arokoda. I can't remember his surname now. But yeah, it was.
Gary or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
that laid the ball for Aino to cross for Osimhen in the last game. So,
Yeah.
all these kind of players, they're finding their feet in the national team. So that's what I want to see. Bring in the new players who are doing well in Europe. Let's see how they can perform for the national team. So, yeah, I mean, it's not it won't be an immediate plan. There should be a plan for the long term, but we need to see the promises when the guys play for matches, especially in the friendly games.
Okay. Now, Sabi, let me ask you one question. It may sound, let me just put it straight. Do you agree with that line that says that the Eagles play better for their respective club sides outside in Europe than they do right here in Nigeria, so that the blame sort of comes back to how they are treated or managed here in Nigeria? Do you ascribe to that? Do you agree with that statement?
I don't agree with the statement because it's not the playing ground is not the same. You can compare what they do at their various club
Outside.
sides where they play with the best, some of the best players.
Mm.
It's totally different. The
Yeah.
clubs have players from different nationalities, some of the best from
Sure.
other countries. They play together. And I'm sure at some point you've also played football. I've played football as well. When you play with better players, you get better yourself because they improve you. That's just the when like we say in local parlance, when they play with O2, they play like O2 as well. You don't play well too because you're not playing with
Yeah,
good players.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when you play with the good ones, you get tend
Good
to get
ones.
better. So they play better because they are playing with some of the best players in their club. But when they come to the national
Outside.
team, it's
Mm.
limited. You can't, I mean, the club can wake up one day and say, oh, we want to buy a new player to improve our team. In the national
Yes.
team, you can't buy players. You just have to play with what
Mm.
you have. If you don't
Yes.
have it in your team, you don't have it. There's nothing you can do about it. But clubs will buy
Yes.
players, they'll buy goalkeeper, they will make the team better, they will improve the team. So
Yeah.
it's not the same level. For the national team, you just have to do what you have to do with what you have. The national team, they might decide to, I mean, no disrespect to the locally based players, but they might decide to bring in a
Yes.
locally based player, and you have to play with him. Whether it's good, you just have to play.
Mm.
So at times you don't see their best
Yeah.
playing for the national. It's not like they don't want to play or they don't want to win, but if he didn't, he didn't, like they say. So I don't agree with that they don't give their 100% in the national team.
Yeah. Mm. Oh, okay. So looking at this now, you've already answered it in a way in the previous statements you made. Nigeria may not qualify for the World Cup. That is just a sad reality. But then,
Mm.
if we must qualify, what do you think we should do? Yeah, beyond the whole Sekou Chelle style of play and then maybe the administration, what can we do beyond those ones? What can we do to see ourselves at 2026 World Cup? Because believe me, I'm sure every sports journalist wants Nigeria to qualify for the 2026 World Cup because it's going to be beneficial, not just for the team and the country, it's also going to be beneficial for the sports. So what can we do actually to
Um,
qualify?
Number one,
Yeah.
like you said, I said it earlier. It's
Yes.
no longer in our hands. That's
Yes.
100%. It's no longer in our hands. But what we can do
Normal
is to win our games.
calculators, 30.
Start
Yeah.
punching the calculators and looking at the possibility. But one thing that we can
Yeah.
do is to win our games, win our games,
Yeah.
and hope for the best. Anything can happen in football. South Africa might
Mm.
just hit or collapse, and it gives us the opportunity. So, what if they
Mm.
collapse? Are we ready to capitalize?
Yeah.
So, what we can do now
True.
is just to
True.
win our games, and keep it moving. If we win our games and South Africa don't capitulate, it's not in our hands because we
Mm.
messed it up already.
Yeah.
But if we win our
Yes.
games and South Africa capitulates, we should be ready to capitalize or take advantage of it. So we can't do
Yeah.
much. It's the same thing. Go into your games, win them, and see where it takes you at the end of the day.
Okay. So now let's put it like a suggestion or an advice to Sekou Chelle and the NFL. What's the way forward if we do not qualify? And then if we do qualify, what next? In both ways. If we do qualify, what next? If we don't qualify, what's the way forward?
So if we qualify, fantastic for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Beautiful for Nigeria because it gives us a beautiful leverage when it comes to
Mm.
international football or world football. It's
Yes.
brilliant for us.
Yes.
We can build on it and try to build a team not just for the World Cup next year, but also for the Nations Cup that is going down later this
Later
year
in the year.
and even the next
Yeah.
one, even the next one. So it's all about building and staying consistent. But one thing that I would love them to do is to keep the manager Eric Chelle for now until we have reasons to do away with him. If they don't
Same here.
qualify, it's still the same. We keep building. It will be a big disappointment. It's going to be embarrassing, but we have to keep building
Yes.
because there's still the Nations Cup. There's still another World Cup coming up, even though it's still in 2030. May God keep us till then and beyond.
Yeah.
But there's still
Yeah.
another World Cup that you have to plan for. So you have to keep building, getting the best players, bringing them together, forming that bond, cohesion, and attacking the competitive games, qualifying, and also winning tournaments. So they just have to keep building irrespective. But if they qualify, it's better. If they don't qualify, we should learn from it and do better subsequently.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bolarinwa. Now, I beg you, Vex, because I want you to put this next question. Now, the
Mm.
question has to do with, I look at some of the other teams, they can boast of um, local players, at least a good number. Why is it that over the years, over the decades, the highest we may have had as inclusions from the local league into the Super Eagles, the highest we may have had may have been during the tenure of late Stephen Keshi, God bless his soul. I think that was the highest we've ever had with the inclusion of local based players in the Super Eagles. Why is it always like that? Why is it difficult for us to get players from the local leagues? I can't imagine 18 to 20 club sides in the professional football league, like we call it. But we can't get players to fit into the Super Eagles. And it's still doing me one kind of head. I never tap well on my head. How? How will they complain of players?
Well, it's tough actually for the home-based players. I mean, like you said, during late Stephen Keshi, we had Godfrey Obabona, we had what's his name
Yeah.
now, Sunday Omba, a couple of them
The
like
guy
that
who
who were able
scored.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had six players. We had six players. I remember then. Then one
Yes.
goalkeeper. What's the
Yes.
goalkeeper's name again? I can't remember now. And but the major problem for me for the locally based player is, let's be honest with ourselves. Are they good enough? Can they compete with their
Hmm.
counterparts playing in Europe? You know, It's not their
Mm,
fault because the
mm,
NPFL is what it is. There are talents, there are skillful players. But when you look at some of the ones
yeah,
playing abroad, they train with better facilities, with better coaches, and it's hard to look beyond the
yeah,
foreign base and pick the local base ahead of them. It's really difficult.
yes.
Maybe one or two. I know a goalkeeper, Remo Stars goalkeeper made it in, but when they make it in, is he going to displace um Stanley? Stanley, well, that
Yeah,
plays in Chippa
Nwabali.
United for Nwabali plays for Chippa United South Africa. Is he even going to
Yeah.
displace Francis Uzoho? It's tough. Olorunleke Ojotu,
Mm,
it's tough for them because it's what it is. You play in Africa, you play in Europe, you are not on the same level. You are not on the same level. And again,
mm,
when Finidi George was in charge, he brought in some locally based players because he managed Eyimba, so he knew them. But when they had the chance against Benin Republic, I saw some of them play, and I'm like, no, this is not the level we want. So that's an example. You'll be like, no, no, this is not the level. I mean, I saw one of them cross the ball. I can't remember his name. He crossed the ball. I'm like, this is like, it reminded me of my secondary school days, the way I used to cross ball. For the professional
mm,
players, you see the swing.
mm.
When they lift it up, you see the swing, they
Yeah.
swerve. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
same. So these things are learned with coaches, with
Yeah.
facilities, and some of them don't have, unfortunately. They
Yeah.
can get there, but they still have to find. I mean, most of them, when they get a chance to even play one game for the national team, they are off to Europe. So that tells you the story. It's difficult to
Sure.
make it in NPL
Yeah.
in the FPL. Let them play one or two, three matches. Their agent is telling them immediately, and they'll take it. Who
Mm.
doesn't want to play in Europe or America? So
Yeah. Yeah.
hopefully we develop our football. It's a long shot, but our football is not the best at the moment. Even South African League, Moroccan League, Algeria, Egypt are way better than what we do in the Nigeria Premier Football
Exactly.
League.
And we claim giants of Africa. Kai.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
unfortunately.
thank you so much, Sabi. Thank you so much. I'm so, so grateful for you taking out time from your busy schedule, your very busy schedule, to join us on this program. And I'm hoping that when next we come calling again, we will get you just the way we have you on this program now. I've had a
Yeah, most
swell
definitely.
time with you, and I hope it's the same from your end. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much for having me, and I love the questions as well. And yeah, keep up the good work. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you so much, viewers, for taking our time to follow us up on this program. If you did not get to follow us here live, you get to watch it on YouTube, Diaspora Digital Media. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and also give your suggestions on the things that we've said. If there are things that we didn't talk about, feel free to share them with us. So until we come your way again with another edition, we want to say a big thank you again to renowned sport journalist Bolarinwa Olajide with Nigeria Info 99.3 FM in Lagos. Thank you so much again, Bolarinwa Olajide. Star B for short. Thank you so much.
Oh, shit. Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
shit.